the 28th of January 2021, 28 past 10 a.m., 29, almost half past 10. What day is it today? Thursday. The 5-minute update. So in the picture you can see me in the primary school. I was on the volleyball team, and you can see the aha, the aha. What do you call it? I'm not sure what you call it. Anyway, obviously I was listening to aha at the time. And there's something more. There's a mark of a lamp on my forearm. So this is the 8th grade, I believe. And this is not a full picture. There's my best friend there too, but I have did it a bit. So terrible things are going on, but I'm still alive, and I'm going to use this life that I have left as much as I can. Some comment on my method reached me. Actually, not a comment, but some consideration. Oh, there's some advertisement in the background right now. I don't want any advertisements. I'm sitting at home and listening to music. So, well, this one is actually from the internet, but I'm going to have my own CD soon. By the end of the month, I should have one. What's going on? And I have bought 2 other CDs, so I'm very happy. I decided to buy them no matter what would be going on with the CD. Sometimes it's unbearable to listen to it, but on the whole, I'm happy I have it anyway. I believe this is, of course, a different ethos, but this is a bit like singing Bogu Rodzica nowadays. So whatever happens to the singing, by the very fact of having the music or the song, you somehow can connect to some earlier times. And I believe that such spiritual, that there can be a kind of spiritual reach this way. Of course, this is not reaching, this is a rather reaching for some spirit that can be still present in regardless of what they do to the song or the music. So I'm happy. I have hits. How many of them are there? 19? I think 19. So I should do something great for each hit. That's what I thought. When you listen to hits, and you should do something great for each hit. And a concert from Oslo, so that goes very well with my learning Norwegian. Anyway, I have heard that there were some doubts concerning my method, so I decided to move Natalia Oreiro higher and make it the third song, and do what I have been doing in English, in Spanish. Of course, I cannot speak Spanish, so that part will be out. And I don't have the materials for Spanish that I have for English, but I see how much I learn. And I wanted to say something, that's why I don't remember what, within the 5 minutes, so perhaps it will be a longer update. It will be a longer update. So mm, there was another thing concerning the lessons. What we are going to do today? You may start thinking. Today we are going to focus again on the song because we have been traveling all sorts of rounds around the song, beating about the bushes in a way. But that was quite a beating with so much, with so much gained, as they say, or simply acquired, or I don't know, with such an enrichment on the way. So what I want us, what I want to do today during the lesson, if I get myself together, I need to get myself together. I want us to do something I have never done before, but it can be interesting, I believe. Um, to approach it from the perspective of philosophy. So we have different branches of philosophy. We have metaphysics. We are going to do a bit of philosophy, a bit of introduction to a bit more of the introduction to philosophy, and the vocabulary, the basic vocabulary. So on the basis of the encyclopedia that I want to quote and work on, we have metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, and what else was there? You see, I have problems with thinking. Metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, aesthetics. Perhaps there was something more. Anyway, and of course axiology, but that we don't have in the encyclopedia. So I want to take these as viewpoints and look at the two songs we have done. The Blood That Moves the Body, and earlier we had Whitney Houston. So you can start doing it before I am there with my lesson. I have no idea how to do it. It would be easier if there were pupils answering back. If it was a classroom. But perhaps we can arrive at something interesting. I have tried to to find something, but I haven't managed yet. To look at, metaphysics. Let's listen to the blood that moves the body and look for the metaphysics. But it should be easier if we do Whitney Houston first. So perhaps somehow something will come out of it. And perhaps I can leave you with some questions that you can answer so that you could practice some speech. So this is the plan for today, more or less. I would like to read some Old Testament first and to learn some Norwegian. And I need to learn some French today because I did not learn French yesterday. I did listen to Norwegian and I did read the Old Testament, but lagging behind with French. Of course, I mean the language. So basically, the good news is that I'm still alive and I can listen to my music. Agnieszka Bata, Magdalena Rojek. Right. I'm really in a state today. So regarding the changed playlist, the playlist changed again. I have moved some of the songs, not only the one by Natalia.
Welcome to my official site.
Not
Yeah,
only
I
the one by
only
Natalia Oreiro. Mm, hold on, where is it? Here, Christmas time, revised. So I have also moved Tamara Miansorova. So after the lesson of Spanish, there will be a lesson of Russian, and then a lesson of German. Then The Lady of Charlotte by Lorena McKennitt. So perhaps I will read the whole in memoriam at last. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I might reach for the Idols of the King, which was my second idea for the MA thesis. The first idea for the MA thesis was teaching literature as a program with my own approach, and from that method and techniques. This is how it works in methodology. So that was the first one, and it had I was inspired by Gorman at the time, so it was to raise the level of emotional intelligence. At the time there was only emotional intelligence, by now there are more intelligences. And I was also, at the time I was interested in the in psychology, and especially in emotion. This was actually a breakthrough time for me as far as science is concerned, because I got a book from the Institute of Psychology on emotion, and that was a collection of papers from some conference on the subject of emotion. And as I was reading it, I could see how the scientists differed in their overall view of the emotion. So this was the time when I realized that there were different schools, and they were contradicting each other. So there was some overlap, but sometimes they were going in totally different directions and irreconcilable. And that made me understand a lot about science, without even taking the perspective of the previous discoveries in science, but that was what I realized at the time too. And I read Ledoux, I don't remember exactly, but he wrote a book on emotion, and this is where I read about the former methods of handling aggression. So, cutting the nervous connections in the brain. Oh, atrocious. But at the time it was considered to be their method. So this was the area of my interest at the time. And then I changed my supervisor, and I wanted to get a scholarship for Iowa. It was possible to become the professor's, the assistant in teaching literature, and also to work for a degree and get the degree from the American University. But I did not win the scholarship, and I broke down. And I changed my supervisor. So for some time I wanted to write my MA thesis on Tennyson's Idyls of the King, which just emphasizes the fact that Camelot belongs to me. Camelot, I mean Camelot in England, the Camelot, the King Arthur's legend. But I did not write it, so this is still waiting for me. I have started reading Mortal 2, but the catalogs got me stuck. So I will probably go through it at 1.2 for my overall grounding, no, perhaps grounding is not the best word, on my overall fundaments in the English culture. Um, they must be stronger than the university degree. After all, I need to win England back, so um, so 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 I see how inspired I will get by the time we reach the Lady of Shalott. Um, and after that, foreigner, I want to know what love is, because I really want to go into literature and find some pearls. And then Camille Godot. So the second lesson in Spanish. Riders on the Storm. A bit of American poetry. Hiroshima. Parla più piano. Well, I have some knowledge of Russian. But by the time at the time when I completed my secondary school, I was able to write compositions in Russian, of course using my dictionary and other reference books. But I did not use perhaps some grammar help, but not too much. So that was my level at the time. So that was 1993. Well, I did not have a very good math in Russian, of course. The requirements were totally different. What's going on now is shocking, simply shocking. With the knowledge of English for which people get pass nowadays, we would have been not promoted very early in our education. But I'm not sure if English was treated the same way. I don't think English was treated the same way. It was only Russian. However, today English is like Russian at the time. I know some Spanish. It comes and goes, actually. When I don't learn it, I forget it. I guess that's always until you reach some level. It always happens that way. I have problems speaking English now too. I guess I would have problems speaking Polish too. I think that when I work at night and sleep afterwards, I wake up in much more fresh. So if I go to sleep at 6 o'clock and then wake up, it seems I can work. But yesterday I went to sleep, I don't know what hour it was, but earlier, without working at night, and I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and somehow I find it very difficult to think. So back to Spanish. So I know some Spanish, and I know, well, my German should be good at least. But as far as Italian is concerned, it's zero. Buongiorno, buongiorno. So that will be quite fascinating. However, this is actually the first song that I experienced being done that way. Actually, the only song I experienced being done that way. In the first grade, I started lessons in Italian at school, and this was the first lesson. Parla più piano, so this is exactly what the teacher did, but then I did not continue. I don't know why. And I don't remember the words. I checked them. I checked the translation of the lyrics, but a total zero as far as Italian is concerned. Almost total. And then Shakira Estoyaki, finally I need to understand the lyrics because I don't know them. Then The Living Daylights. I don't know what's going to come up in my mind by the time we reach The Living Daylights, but if I am still so much in love with Aha as I am today, I might think of doing the philosophy. So we can look at the 3 albums because this is where I am basically. The first one, the second one, and the third one, and think of the philosophy in each of them, whether there have been any changes or not, and generally, well, I don't know, we'll see. And then Ali McBeal tell him, I think we are going to do some legal English by the time we reach Ali McBeal. You should be quite advanced. And there can be a question concerning about the match. It's in Polish, well, exactly. So sometimes we want to tell someone something about our culture, and that's not that easy, especially if we deal with poetry. So Ewa the Marczyk is really the top